power lies within us. It always did. The enemies of humanity hid from us the keys to this knowledge. Today, we are taking it back. I am Elena Danaan, and together with Dan Willis, we will show you the way to this power and how we can change this reality. Today, we are going to create a positive timeline in the planetary matrix using a crystal. We will see how our planet's timeline has been hijacked using secrecy and deception. We will go over scientific measurements that show that a certain number of minds affect the entire planet. How crystals were used in the ancient past and the future. We will compare and corroborate information from the stars and from Earth. We will visualize a positive timeline on Earth and use a crystal to imprint it into this planetary matrix. Today, to do this amazing work, I have with me Dan Willis. Dan, you are one of the Disclosure Project's top secret military witnesses who testified at the National Press Club Conference in Washington, D.C. in 2001 in front of every major media. This world disclosure event was asking for a congressional hearing in order to bring forth the witness, scientists within the Black Project who can release the technology derived from extraterrestrial reverse engineering that have been hidden from us for over 60 years. You are also an ex-radio broadcast engineer and an ABC newsman. You took interest in how the mainstream media has withheld disclosure of the full message to the public. And you also worked with Dr. Marcel Vogel on the science of crystals. Dan, how are you?
I'm great, and I'm honored to do this with you. This is kind of a dream come true for me, to be able to have confirmation from a being from another star system with the laboratory research work that IBM's top scientists did for 17 years on the science of crystals, and now how we're going to be able to apply this to assist in bringing a positive timeline on planet Terra.
This is wonderful. I am so excited about this, that we are able to make a change. So please, Dan, tell us how our planet timeline was hijacked using secrecy and deception.
Yeah, we're going to go a little 5-minute history lesson here of how, for those, many of you are aware of what happened on our planet, and some of you are still learning. And from my decades of research, this is my notes on this. On the planet Earth, there was a group of individuals who plotted to rule the world to serve their own interests. They infiltrated the secret societies and used them for a cover for their plan. With their great control of financial interest and wealth, their assets, they placed in high positions to move forward on their secret agenda for what they called a, quote, New World Order, to have the entire world under their complete control. As part of their plan, they funded the Nazis of Germany into power. Before the end of World War II, many Nazis had escaped with the help of the Vatican and they had set up a secret base in Antarctica, where they had entered into an alliance with the Draco of the Sakar Empire, which gave the Nazis highly advanced technology. This act was in direct violation of the established Prime Directive in our galaxy. In Operation High Jump, when the US attempted to destroy the Nazi base, they were completely defeated with their advanced anti-gravitic and directed energy weapons craft. This is how they were able to intimidate the US government into a future surrender. In order to move forward on their New World Order agenda, the Nazis fully infiltrated into the US under Operation Paperclip through their assets placed within US intelligence. In order to keep these operations secret from the American people, who believed they won World War II, they placed their assets in high positions in intelligence, aerospace, pharmaceutical corporations, health agencies, education, entertainment, news media, etc., to create a, quote, matrix of perception in order to hide this fact from the American people. They had the history of World War II completely rewritten in order to hide the Nazi escape and infiltration from school children studying the history in the future, as well as the Nazis' deep connection with the occult. They had all the major universities all over the world silence the truth about what they knew about the powers of human consciousness to affect reality. President Eisenhower had a meeting with the Galactic Federation of Worlds, which tried to warn him about the Nibiru gray extraterrestrials from Orion and not give consent to them by entering into a treaty. The Nazis had already placed their assets within the newly formed MJ-12 control group, who went behind Eisenhower's back and entered into a treaty with the Nibiru. The Nibiru violated the treaty and moved forward on their future plan to fully control Earth through their hybrid program, abducting millions of humans on Earth. Since that time, a surrender was made during the Eisenhower administration to the Nibiru and Draco, and our legal constitutional government has been denied access ever since. In the interest of balance, the Galactic Federations of Worlds has been working secretly with the US Navy to help protect Earth by helping the Navy create a fleet of spacecraft for a program called Solar Warden, and recruiting personnel for 20 years tour of duty in space on a separate timeline, and then returning them back to their original timeline. With the high-level individuals in our military and intelligence now being illegally denied access, an attempt in 2001 by many military and intelligence witnesses to disclose these operations to the people of Earth was suppressed by their control of the news media. Their most important asset to move forward and accomplish their agenda for a, quote, New World Order was almost the complete control of information through the mainstream media outlets as well as social media on the internet. They kept our civilization from technologically progressing through citing national security concerns, legally suppressing any technological breakthroughs that would threaten their control, thus keeping our planet technologically retarded, while they secretly advanced by several decades of advancement. They kept the public believing that primitive rockets were the only method to overcome gravity to go into space. They used the public's money and personnel and compartmentalized secret projects to fund and advance their secret space program, with operations in Antarctica, the Moon, Mars, Ceres, and elsewhere in our solar system, where they utilized captured humans for slave labor in all their operations and underground bases on Earth and throughout our solar system. Their New World Order plan, through their control regulatory agencies that were initially intended to protect the health and welfare of the public, was instead being used through various means to fulfill their agenda to reduce the population of the Earth by about 90%, where the remaining 10% would be controlled and enslaved by them. Many whistleblowers and witnesses exposing their dark operations, despite their secrecy and censorship, have contributed to a current global awakening exposing the truth of these crimes against humanity. Once a certain critical mass awakening of the people of Earth occurs, These criminals against humanity will then be brought to justice using the rule of law, which will lead to Earth's liberation into a positive timeline without these dark criminal elements impeding Earth's positive evolution into joining the galactic community. And Elena, bring us up to present day from that.
Yes, sure. Since the 1950s, the Galactic Federation of Worlds has been secretly helping humanity with cooperation programs sharing technology, helping us building our defenses against the Nebu threat. As part of this cooperation, the Earth Alliance was created, allying Earth and extraterrestrial military forces to fight back the invader. This cooperation program gave birth to the Solar Warden Fleet. February 2021. Luna, Earth Moon, was liberated from the Nebu and the Dark Fleet occupation by the Earth Alliance and the Galactic Federation of Worlds. April 5, 2021. Raids started on Mars, performed by the Galactic Federation of Worlds and the Martian Alliance. May 14, 2021. The Galactic Federation of Worlds decoded the frequency keys of the star gates used by the Nebu in our star system and locking them. June 6, 2021. Liberation of Antarctica from the Dark Fleet. July 5, 2021. Final victory on Mars. July 14 to 17, 2021. Agreements passed on Jupiter between the Galactic Federation of Worlds, the Earth Space Force, and the Earth Alliance. August 28, 2021. Liberation of Ceres. And the deep underground military bases were progressively cleared, and the Nebu Greys finally cast out of this star system, as well as the Sicars, the reptilians.
Scientific experiments establishing the reality of the effect of a small group of people to affect this morphogenic collective field we are all in was documented in the International Peace Project in the Middle East, published in the Journal of Conflict Resolution. Researchers were able to identify the minimum number of people needed to experience inner peace before it's mirrored in the surrounding world. That number they determined is the square root of 1% of the population. This represents only the base number required for the effect to begin. The more people participate, the more pronounced the outcome. For example, the square root of 1% of the entire population of Earth, which is approximately almost 8 billion people, would be less than only 9,000 people. You have 100,000 subscribers, that's less than 1/10 of your subscribers. Less than 9,000 people to be required to affect the entire population on this planet. This has been proven in numerous repeated experiments to be a fact. Further evidence of this collective field was indicated by Princeton University, who set up a worldwide network of physical random number generators located all over the planet to measure the effects of consciousness on the electronic devices, and called it the Global Consciousness Project. On the day of 9/11, the equipment spiked a large signal showing there was a collective emotional response that could actually be measured by this field. Other large recordings have occurred on presidential inaugurations, tsunamis, the deaths of public figures. In other words, collectively together, we produce an effect which can actually be measured. Imagine if this effect from the mind of each person could be amplified and multiplied using the science of crystals.
And crystals were used a lot in the ancient past and will be also used in the future. First, we have the crystal scrying. What is crystal scrying? Well, crystal scrying is a very old divination technique that consists in focusing your mind's eye in the center of a crystal ball that is usually a quartz, although amethyst works as well, but gives less reliable results. By focusing the mind's eye or the third eye or the pineal vision into a quartz, we open a vortex through space-time that allows us to see images that can represent a future time, a past time, or a deeper understanding of the present. It is our intention that will decide about the path we want our consciousness to project into, past, future, or deeper understanding of the present. We can either do it for ourselves, global events, or for a person we link to energetically.
And the crystal sphere, formed in the shape of a sphere, has the ability to resonate with all the geometries within the sphere, and is therefore a universally resonant shape that is well suited for this purpose.